Now there are elections in the UK, and Americans are assessing the fallout of the testimony of the FBI's former director. And to add to the political intrigue this summer, newly crowned French President Emmanuel Macron is preparing for his country's legislative elections. At the top of his agenda, triggering executive decrees to fast-track pro-business legislation in a nation where unemployment is in double digits and unions remain reluctant to embrace Anglo-American economic reforms. Our editor, Craig Copetas, joins us now from Paris. Craig, thanks so much for being with us. Well, quite a summer in store from the political intrigue point of view, including where you are. Macron dropped a bombshell. His executive order on the eve of the election to change the labour code. How is that playing out in France?
It's playing out immaculately for Macron. Remember all that talk, Azar? All those London-based banks and financial institutions aren't going to get anywhere near France? Hold your horses on that, because what Macron has done is he is trying to clean the house here to lure those companies here and other companies as quickly as possible. The polls indicate that the first round of the legislative elections this weekend, that he's going to get, his party, La République En Marche, is going to get anywhere from 350 to 400 seats in the 577-member legislature. We haven't seen anything like that here since the end of World War II.
Wow, big changes ahead for France then. So all those doubts as to whether he was going to be able to push through his agenda, those doubts seem to be dispelling, or am I reading this wrong?
Yeah. Well, yes, they are dispelling. As remarkable as it might sound, you're looking at the socialists are no longer a party. Essentially, if they have to get a minimum of 15 seats in the legislatives to actually form a parliamentary group, they might not get that. The unions are starting to buckle. Macron is starting off by going after three things: employment, making it easier to hire and fire people, trying to lump all the pensions together into one pension pot. He's attempting to open up the French economy by creating more of an Anglo-style labor market, taking away power from the unions and putting it more in the hands of entrepreneurs. It's a real house cleaning here, and the fact that he started to trigger this before the first round of the legislative elections is a pretty darn fine indication that he's got the votes to take control of the National Assembly and really change France.
Craig, it's pretty difficult to believe that you're describing France there. I mean, after decades of, socialist rule, is the French public changing its mind? Are we seeing a sea change in opinion in France?
Well, you are. The strikes and rebellion of the past that we've seen here for decades were always a combination of the Socialist Party and the unions. Well, the Socialist Party, as I said, pretty much doesn't exist anymore. Mélenchon's far left, they might get anywhere between 5 and maybe 30 votes. They just don't have the people in the National Assembly anymore. So what's happening here is these unions, there's a number of them, even the most radical, are saying, hey, we're going to have to play ball with President Macron. And Macron said to them, come on in, let's talk, we can compromise, but boys and girls, we're changing this country. We're going to bring it into the 21st century, and we're going to attract investment and try and keep our own people here to develop entrepreneurial projects and just put France on a 21st century track. Again, what's going on in England here, the French don't care. I can see 6, 7 months from now, Azar, you might see some of those banks in London who have been reluctant to come here take a chance with Macron if his early policies here can get through. And with this kind of majority suspected in the legislature, it looks like it's going to happen.
One to watch. Craig Copetas in Paris, thank you so much.